Growth operating is a shitty business model, and that's the truth. I'm going to show you exactly why it's not the best bet if you're starting as a complete beginner and what you should actually do and the discrepancy between both. Because if you ever see someone online talking about growth operating and content operating and they use those terms interchangeably, it's either one of two things. They don't know what they're talking about, or two, they're a scammer. In most cases, it's a mix of both because the fundamental difference between these two models is huge. They're different businesses for different purposes. And if you see someone in their YouTube title talk about growth operating, but then in the video itself, they're talking about content operating, they're probably scamming you, or once again, they don't know what they're talking about because you're comparing two different business models, right? So the big difference is content operating is front-end marketing. It's just advertising, okay? It's literally just content. It's in the word, content operating, right? You're operating content for an influencer, business owner, or creator online on social media, typically on Instagram, short form content. Versus growth operating is back-end systems. It's fulfillment, it's sales, it's everything else that you might need, but it's not content, right? That's why it's growth operating on the back end, not the front end, which is content. Those are the two big differences, and no one tells you that. Everyone just talks about growth operating, find a client, and you take a percentage of their sales, and then you just grow and you make infinite money. Yeah, but here's the problem. If you have the best systems, which is what, remember, growth operating is, it doesn't matter if the content sucks, right? Because if I have perfect systems, but my content's getting 10 views, well, then no one's going to see the systems in the first place. Or even if I am getting a lot of views, let's say I get 1 million views, if those aren't my ideal target audience and they're 16-year-olds from Nigeria, they're still not going to convert and actually pay me money as the business because they're broke. So that's why content operating, it's literally the foundation of any business model. Like, can you think of a single business that can survive without marketing? You can't. Even models like dropshipping and crypto, they all rely on content operating because dropshipping, you actually need to market the product. You need those views to convert into sales. Same thing with crypto. It's like you don't know if the coin is actually going to sell well until you build some hype around it and people know about the coin, right? So everything is predicated on content. And that's why this business model is way easier to get into because you don't need to know all these things. Like, do you guys know what a Zapier is? Do you know what a ClickFunnels account and having like all the leads in one place, CRMs, SDRs? Do you guys know what that is? Fuck no. It's not a beginner business model. And that's why there's a lot of like common problems here because growth operating is taking a percent of someone's business. What business owner, like these are logical, successful people that are making real money online. Like what business owner is going to give a complete beginner 50% of his business? Like, it just doesn't happen. It's like, look, this is my Instagram account. Unless you look like this and you look professional, good luck. I would never give half my business to someone that doesn't have a good page and actually looks like they know what they're doing. And then keep in mind, even when you do build up a page, you're competing against real growth operators like this guy, this Pierre, okay? Do you think you can beat him and land clients over him? Probably not. As a complete beginner, like you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know how to use all these random softwares and all these complicated funnels and systems. Why not just do the thing that matters the most, which is content? Learning content, it literally is just about your strategy and hiring a video editor. You see how simple that is? Like, it's the heart of every business. And once again, it's two distinct things. Content operating and growth operating are not the same business model. So now you know. With growth operating, you're doing all the hard stuff. With content operating, it's like the 80-20. 20% of the inputs lead to 80% of the results. I don't need the perfect systems. I don't need to have the perfect sales process. If I just get views, and those views are people that I want to purchase from me in my ideal customer audience, I'm still going to make money, right? That's why, you see these like influencers, these business owners, they have like weird websites, and yeah, maybe it's not the most optimal, but they still make money because their content is so good. So why not start at the top, right? Why go to the systems as a beginner? It just doesn't make any sense. And also it's fucking hard. Like even if I were to growth op, I couldn't compete with this guy. Like this guy, he's hard to compete with. But you know what's not hard to compete with? Content. Because everyone needs content. Like we're in the attention economy. Goldman Sachs predicts the creator economy is expected to nearly double to $500 billion annual by next year. Everyone you can think of needs content, and they don't just need video editors because video editors don't understand strategy. And once again, there's no point of getting 1,000,000 views if those 1,000,000 people aren't actually going to buy from you, because business owners want conversions. They don't just want empty views or empty videos. It needs to lead to something, because obviously that's the point of social media, to make money, right? If you're just trying to be famous on social media, go stream, okay, or go do pranks or something. But with business, that's not how it works. I want you to really think about it. If I'm skiing, what do you think will make a bigger impact and get me better results? Learning the technique and being able to like perfectly go in the corner when I turn, or just buying better skis? Because if I'm on that slope with 2 pieces of cardboard, yeah, good luck. It doesn't matter how good I am and if I'm able to lean and turn and all this, it's 2 pieces of cardboard. You're screwed. Versus if I just buy better skis, okay, now at least I'm like 80% of the way there. Now the remaining 20%, sure, I can perfect my technique, but let me have some skis first, because without good skis, I'm screwed. So now you know the discrepancy between them. It's kind of like the blue and red pill. So let me just go a little bit more into depth so you have like a complete understanding of how it works. And at the end, I'll show you exactly some of the softwares that make content operating 100 times easier, that you don't need to learn these complicated systems. But essentially with growth operating, you're scaling a business by getting a client and then creating them a system. That's literally it. Kind of looks like this. And there's a lot of different aspects to it. There's inbound, there's people coming to your client. There's outbound, there's your client reaching them, like with email marketing and things like that, with SMS text campaigns. Then there's paid media. Good luck learning all that as a beginner. It's expensive, there's a steep learning curve, and there's also a lot of competition. So, you lead into a lot of these problems like SDRs, CRMs. Once again, like if you don't know what these are, probably like a light bulb, don't do this business model. Like a CRM is a customer relationship management software. It's like where all the leads or people interested in the actual offer are stored. And then there's SDRs, like there's sales channels, there's all these different things. You don't own any of the traffic because it's not the content, it's just a funnel. It's like a system. It's like you have people come and then it's like a website. Think of it like that. Growth operating is like creating like a website, right? Creating like a system. And then you want the website to be as perfect as possible so that you can actually convert those people into sales. But here's the problem. It's like if you just had more people come to the website, even if it's not a perfect website, you'll make more money. At the end of the day, the best marketing always wins. That's the inherent truth of the world. And yeah, it might suck, but that's reality. So as a beginner trying to make money online, what do you think you should do? If that's the most impactful thing, and having the best marketing literally like either kills or explodes the business, yeah, maybe you should become a content operator and then take a percentage of that success. Or at least learn the skill, because it's based on everything else and that you'll need it regardless of what you do. Think of politics. Which politician usually wins? Is it the guy with the best ideas and the perfect political campaign? Or do you think it's the politician that's just the most popular and the best at marketing? Right. Is it starting to make sense now? That's literally how it works. And I'm not saying it's the best thing. Like obviously we'd want the politician with the better systems and that's actually going to make a difference. But that's not really how it works, is it? It's typically the guy that's just really good at marketing and typically the best liar as well. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just showcasing the difference between content operating and how it's way more impactful and powerful than growth operating. Like if I have 10 people on my website, that's not really enough to make like an educated and informed decision of, is this website good? I need like 1,000 people on my website before I can tell, okay, is the system good or not? And then I have to redo the website. I need 1,000 more people, and then I can compare and contrast. Did my change actually increase conversions? So that's why there's a really long feedback loop. It's really unclear unless you have everything like set up and managed. Like this is not easy to do, especially as a beginner. And there's a lot of moving parts. And the big problem is that you're always dependent on the quality of the audience. Like once again, if you were the best growth operator in the world, let's say you're somehow better than Pierre, you're somehow better than me. Even though I'm not a growth operator, I'm a content operator. But if you're somehow better than us, you're still stuck with the lead. Like if the quality of the lead is that 16-year-old kid from Nigeria, he might love the system, but he's broke. He can't buy from your client, so you'll still be broke. You see how like growth operating is predicated on the content that comes in. If the content sucks, then you're screwed as a growth operator. So why put yourself in a situation where you're based on Like your success is tied to someone else. Why not just learn the content? And even if you don't do this type of business model, you can use that content with anything else, because remember, it's the foundational building block of any business model. So, you can't really control these variables unless you go to the source, which is the content. All that it is you actually find a dedicated audience to market to. You think of their pain points, like what drives people to actually buy? Well, when they feel like they can trust you, when they're understood, when the solution you have is hyper specific to their problems. And once you do that, you actually build an asset around it. Because now, even if you don't sell exactly now to the audience that you build, you can sell to them later. Or you could sell them a new product or a new consulting offer. Like, think of the biggest influencers in the world. Like, they sell all sorts of stuff, right? Like, they sell glasses, they sell consultancy programs, they sell merch, they sell affiliate codes to their favorite donut shop, right? Who knows? But you can sell anything because the content is geared around you as a personal brand. You own the content, like you own your own branding assets, like your Instagram page, it's yours, your YouTube, it's yours. And I'm not saying this to do for yourself. I'm saying, like, look, if you had a client, like one of my top clients, Nathan, he owns all of this. He owns these, million followers because they care about him. They follow him. They trust him. So whatever Nathan sells, he has a built up audience. And so that's way more powerful than just having like a system around it, because these million people could buy anything he sells because they like him, right? And that's kind of the point of it. It's like you have a compounding asset because as you grow, your audience grows. And then you build trust and you own the attention like we talked about. And that's why it's a lot more scalable, because you actually have that compounding growth. And in terms of like being a beginner, it's easy to get into because learning content is simple. It's not about fancy edits. It's not about having, the best transitions. It's just about knowing, what do my clients sell and how can I create that offer that markets to their audience? Okay. And that's where the pain points come in. So it's super simple, and you don't have to sell in every content, piece of production video that you have. Like with my channel and my Instagram, it's like sometimes I just vlog my life. And so if I had a content operator, I operate my own content because I know what I'm doing. But if I had a content operator, I would just tell him, hey, look, I sell content operating services. This is what my ideal customer wants. Let's do more content like this. And so you don't just generate leads. Like, you create like a tangible entity, which is your personal brand. And you can do this on anything like short form, YouTube, TikTok. And then you have content pillars, like you can try different formats where you talk to the camera. There's more of a storytelling aspect, your lifestyle. And then you can monetize that by like a simple automation, which is like ManyChat. This software, you literally just connect it to your Instagram. And every time someone comments, it sends them something, and maybe it sends them to your website. And that's literally it. That's the big difference between content operating and growth operating. Two separate things. And once again, if anyone tells you that growth operating and content operating are the same thing, they're not. Front end is very different than back end, right? And now that you know this, I just want you to be aware of it. So instead of like struggling to do all this, because I know it's super popular, but it's popular because it sounds good. But in reality, it's like, yeah, good luck competing with Pierre. Good luck learning all this, setting it up. And then even if you do that, none of it's guaranteed to make you money, because remember, it's based on the lead quality, which is the content, right? It's like trying to work on and perfect the engine of a Toyota. Like, yeah, you'll make it better. Yeah, it'll run smoothly, but it's still a Toyota. Why not just go and buy a Ferrari? Okay. And now the engine just naturally is better, and it's a Ferrari, and that's the thing that makes the big difference. Like, yeah, you'll probably have a perfect Toyota, but who cares? Who cares that you have the perfect system? I'd rather have the Ferrari. I'd rather have the content that makes my product look better, because also that's another thing. It's like you never see the product itself. You just see the marketing. So if you just focus on the marketing, you can pretty much like change the perception of your product. And even if it sucks, you can make it look like it doesn't suck, right? So just buy the Ferrari. And if you also think about it, growth operating is not as scalable as content operating, because with growth operating, let's say you take a percentage, 20% of the business. Okay, well, it's kind of hard to track. Are you really giving 20% of value? Because yeah, you're making a better website, but once again, even without a really good website, the client you're working for is still going to make money because they get views from their videos. Versus with content operating, it's more justifiable. It's like I make you a piece of content, it gets 50,000 views. Out of that 50,000, I can literally track, okay, it generated you 5 new sales. Each sale is worth $2,000, 5 times 2. I made you real money, right? And so I can take a percent of that. I could argue, hey, look, without this piece of content, you wouldn't have 5 of those new clients, which is $10,000. And I can actually track that conversion. Versus with growth operating, it's kind of hard for a client to justify paying you as much money because, okay, I don't know if what you're doing for me is actually leading me to X result. Am I really making more money from you, or am I just making more money because I have better content? So it's all predicated on the videos itself. It's like, once again, you don't need the perfect system. You just need better content. You need better marketing. Think about all the shittiest business models out there. Think about like horrible businesses that you've had experiences with. Why did you buy? Because you had good content. You had good marketing. You had a good ad, right? That's the whole basis of business. Really good advertising. Now, obviously, it's great if the product is good, but you won't even see the product unless the marketing is good. Because flip it. Let's say you have an amazing product and shitty marketing, no one's buying from you, right? Because they just don't know about your business, or they don't trust you, or something's off. So it's all based on the content operating. If you're a beginner, what do you think you should do when everything is based around this business model? And then this comes later, right? It's not a beginner business model. Like, yeah, once you have really good content, then you can focus on the systems. Then it's smart to do that. But until you nail down the advertising, bro, good luck. In both cases, you're not building the product. Like, your client is building the product. The product's whatever. The product's like a 10 out of 10 product. Now you need a 10 out of 10 marketing campaign and structure. And then you can have a 10 out of 10 landing page. But what's the point of perfecting the landing page when you could just make more money on the thing that actually generates people interested in your business? I mean, that's it. Like, there's no point in like dragging out this video. Like, that's what it is. I hope you guys learned something. If you want to work with me personally to set up your content operating business, I have a whole 6-week roadmap. I even built an AI that lands you a client for you. So it automatically searches people in your niche, it outreaches while you're sleeping, and it creates custom coded outreach sequences. So it even follows up. It does pretty much everything. I've had a bunch of people go through my system. They all got results. If you want to apply to work with me, just click the first link down below in the description of this video. And I hope this was helpful. It should clear up a lot. You know, you can have this flywheel of creating content and not having to worry about anything else just because you're in a better business model and you have more leverage. So yeah, also it's unsaturated because everyone talks about growth operating, but no one really knows about content operating because it's new, it's untapped, and you can make real money with it. So that's literally it. Click the subscribe down below as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.